So you're thinking of moving to the Twin Cities market, but you're curious as to where the market is right now today. Well, it's April 1st, 2023. Today we're going to do a deep dive of the Twin Cities market, go over where prices are at, where inventory's at, and I'll let you know where I think things are going in the months to come. So stay tuned to the end. We're going to get into it right now. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Steve. I'm the team lead for the Three Rivers real estate team based out of the Twin Cities right here in Minnesota. I produce content for people just like you looking to move to the Twin Cities so you can have the most up-to-date information when you're thinking of making your move. And today we're going to do a deep dive of what is happening in the Twin Cities market. We're going to hop into my computer. I'm going to go over all the data, where it's at right now as it is of April 1st, 2023, and I'll tell you where I think things are going, where they're trending this year as well, and where we might wind up come summer months. So let's hop into it.
All right, popping right into my computer here right away. One of the biggest things that people want to take a look at when they're wondering kind of where the market is at or where it's going is where are prices going? Where is average sales price trending? And you can see month over month, average sales price in the Twin Cities is starting to come back up with just over $407,000 last month in March here, which is up slightly from February, where it kind of bottomed out here in February. And that is very, very common here in the Twin Cities. You tend to see the lowest average sales prices in January or February, tends to peak in June or July, and then it's very cyclical as the seasons kind of come. Now this year is obviously just a little bit different with what we're seeing. We have a very bad winter this year. We're in the top 5, I believe, for all time for snowfall. And actually, as I'm recording this on April 1st, we just had a blizzard come through and dump about 6 inches on April 1st here as well. So that plays a big role in what's going to happen with the market. Typically, when we see these late snowfalls, it really does kind of push the market back a little bit. Additionally, we're suffering the same things everybody else is suffering as far as interest rates are going. When interest rates are coming up a little bit, people that don't need to sell and are locked into low interest rates tend not to do that. And that kind of really pushes some things, moves some things around. There was a lot of hesitancy this winter as rates were going up. People didn't exactly know what was going to start happening there, so a lot of people kind of pulled out of the market. And this average sales price number, I always caution people when we kind of look at it, it's a very laggard indicator for us in the real estate market. And what I mean by that is these homes that are closing in March actually got under contract, 30, 45 days ago in January and in February when they were sitting on the market. People got them under contract, and then it takes 30, 45 days to close escrow. Closes in March, and those are the numbers that we're reporting on, we're seeing in March. I can tell you from personal experience, anecdotally here in the Twin Cities, prices are definitely starting to kind of move up. We're starting to see a lot of multiple offer situations, a lot of different things happening there. So I would expect to see this number kind of continue up, especially if this trend continues here. So I'm looking at new listings, and new listings month over month has been creeping up since December, which is great, but year over year is still way down. We're looking at 35% year over year down for new listings. So look at March, we had 4,200 compared to last March. We're at 6,500 new homes hitting the market. So that's a big shift down. There's a lot less homes hitting the market, a lot less opportunity for buyers to be looking at right now. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing in the current market state that we're starting to see multiple offers start to happen again. That even though, with the rates kind of moving around in the upper 6s, maybe pricing some people out, but there's just no new homes hitting the market. So the few buyers that are out there that are pre-approved looking to move, they don't have a lot of options right now. We'll take a look at what we currently have within the Twin Cities market as we kind of keep looking here. But one big thing we need to keep looking at if we're going to try to see what's going to continue to happen here is, what is this new listings going to do? Typically, we see the peak of it in May and June here. I talked about we got a really, really snowy spring here. I would expect this to continue trending up, but might get pushed out a little bit until as we shovel ourselves out. People like to kind of wait for their home to be in the best light. Well, got to let things dig out, let things dry out as we're getting into what we call mud season here in Minnesota right now, and everything melts. Leaves things a lot of muddy if people don't want to necessarily get on the market right now. Might wait until school changes and we can start to see what this new inventory is going to do, and how it's affecting our month's supply of inventory, which is staying very low. So if you're not familiar with this term, month supply of inventory, it's basically saying, hey, if no new listings hit the market, given our current demand, we would run out of inventory in 1.3 months, basically 1 month and 10 days roughly. We'd be all the homes would be sold if nothing new hit the market. So that's very, very low overall. Last year, we bottomed out at a 1.9 month of supply. We've trended back up with inventory and things, coming back up when the interest rates pushed up, brought that demand down, when it really kind of peaked in October of last year. It's started coming back down again as rates started coming down, and now we've leveled off at 1.3 month. Now, this is still, nowhere near where we were pre-pandemic levels. So if you were buying a house in 2019, we were in the twos quite a bit for pretty much that entire time, until the pandemic hit, and then we really started seeing this month supply of inventory really start going down. We've stayed relatively low. We really only got up to about 2 months of supply at kind of the peak of this interest rate market that we've been in for a little bit right now, but we've trended right back down. Historically, this does start to come back up in the spring months as more people list their homes, just more opportunities out there. Things tend to maybe sit a couple days on market a little bit longer, depending on what that demand's going to do. So hopefully we bottomed out here at 1.3. We can start to move some things up overall. But again, we got to caution everything here, what interest rates are going to do, and overall what this pricing is going to do, as again, prices tend to go up from here for the rest of the year. So that's anecdotally kind of what we're seeing right now, as our inventory is still staying really low. So if we look at kind of the market watch here in the Twin Cities, single family homes over the last 7 days, we've only had 1,400 new listings hit, 1,458. But we've had just over 1,300 go pending, come under contract. So that's not a very great ratio. If we're hoping to increase this month of supply, we need to see this number a little bit more out of whack between the two. We need to see a lot more listings coming on versus what's pending, and that's where we're going to start to see this shift happening. We're not seeing that quite yet, and we start talking about kind of affordability. Hey, what's even available in the Twin Cities right now? And as we start looking, the average sales price was a 407. So if we look kind of in that kind of average sales price range, there's only, in all of the Twin Cities market, there's only 800 homes kind of in the average sales price range right now. And a lot of them are what we refer to as coming soon. So all of these right here, they're not even on the market yet. We have 32 of those 814 homes that haven't even hit the market yet. And then some of them are just starting to kind of get on here. So as we kind of look at what's available, if you're the average home buyer, it might look like a lot out there, but when you kind of think of the Twin Cities metro with a lot of area here, only having 800 options really isn't a whole lot. So as long as we don't have those options, we're going to start to see this average sales price start to probably keep being strong and keep moving up and kind of keep getting pushed up. So, overall, what do I think is going to happen in the market? I think we're going to start to kind of historically see, we're going to continue to see what we've historically seen. We're going to see month supply start to creep up a little bit as we go into the spring months here. It's not going to go up much though. I really truly believe that a lot of people have those low interest rates. 99% of borrowers are locked in under 6, and right now we're hovering right around 7s for upper 6s, low 7s for interest rates right now. And there's a whole mess of people. I think it's like 30 or 40% to have their homes completely paid off right now. So if they're looking at potentially moving, trading up, trading down, getting a bigger uptick in their interest rate, a lot of people aren't going to do that. So they're going to kind of hang on to that until they need to move, which is really going to put pressure on this supply. And we only have pressure on supply, we're going to see prices start to creep back up. It's a supply and demand market there. So overall, that's what I think we're going to see. The only way I think that's going to change is if we see some big change in either supply or in interest rates. And honestly, we're probably not going to see a change in supply until we see a change in interest rates. So until those rates start coming down and it makes financial sense for people to move, if they're they're locked in at a 3 right now. They probably want to see something in the 5s, and then it probably makes a lot of sense when they think of all the equity they might have in their house to trade up, or vice versa to trade down, as long as the rates are somewhat close to each other. If we're locked in under 3 and we're getting close to 7s right now, anecdotally, I just don't think a lot of people are going to make that move or make that transition. So I think we're going to continue to see low inventory. We're going to continue to see prices start to tick up. And we're going to continue to see that, really, I think, until rates start coming back down. It's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. Nobody has a crystal ball here on how all of that's going to play out. But that's what I would keep the closest eye on to see where things are going to shift. Now, I could be wrong. We might see a big influx of inventory. And if we see a big influx of inventory, if this is mostly weather-driven, where people aren't wanting to move due to all the snow that we're having, again, 5th snowiest year we've had in Minnesota's history since they've been paying attention to this stuff. If that's just pushing everything back a couple weeks and we start seeing a lot of inventory start hitting next month or two, that might start shaking things up. If we see month supply come up, we might see sales prices kind of level off or dip down a little bit. Really hard to tell between that. I don't think that's where we're headed right now, at least in the short term, next 2 to 3 months. But it is a possibility. We don't know until we really start hitting this spring market. We really haven't hit our stride in the spring market yet with the weather that we've been having. So really keep an eye on it over the next month. See where inventory goes. That's really going to be the biggest driver in this market. Stays down, price is probably going to continue to creep up a little bit. So if you have specific questions about a specific suburb or price point or construction size, like new construction, previous owned, always reach out. Drop us a link down in the comments. Happy to answer any questions you have about the Twin Cities market.